my intuition. I'm so glad that you're here today. I started the Dear Siddiqi show because as a professional intuitive, I kept getting questions from my friends, and I thought, why not answer these in a way that everybody has access? Because I think some of these questions are really universal. So if you're watching this on whatever channel you're watching it on, whether it's live or after the fact, I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel, if you would comment, and if you would share this with friends, especially the people that you think, oh, hey, I just heard that so-and-so was struggling with this. I would love to pass this on. So please, 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 as an act of service to your friends and family and colleagues, will you please pass this on? This is meant to be a resource for you to get answers so that you can tune in to your intuition and learn to trust it more. So I'm going to dive in with the overall message that's coming through right now to me as an intuitive about what's happening in the world, which is we are moving forward slowly. I know it's 2023, it's the beginning of the year. Many people are like off to the gym, they're off with their New Year's resolutions, and it feels like you are trying to jog through waist-high mud. And that's only good if you're a Navy SEALs in training. So get ready to move forward slowly. It's not a punishment. It is just the way the energy is right now, because we're still as a collective, we are still asking ourselves, what do we want to pay attention to? What do we want to focus on? And it's a gift that it's going slowly, because if the momentum was going really quickly and we were manifesting like this, we wouldn't have time to really make purposeful choices from a new place. 2023 is the year that we're going to start to see what I call functional woo, the rise of better decision making from a different place in your relationships, with your money, in business, in what you're doing in the world, with your health. This is the time where we're going from what some people call 3D, which is like what you can see in front of you, the 3D reality, to 5D or 5G, depending on what planet you're from. So 5G, a different way of seeing things, a different way of feeling our way through things. We're meant to be getting out of our heads and into our hearts. So whatever decisions you're making now, my friends, I would say slow down, take this time to stop making it so arduous, stop making it so hard, slow down and really find a place of answering your own questions from an open heart versus trying to figure it out in your mind. That's the old way of doing it, and it's not really going to work right about now. So if you want 2023 to be more effortless, I'm looking at my notes that I wrote right before this because I was meditating. You want to really make sure that you are in alignment with all parts of yourself. So whether you believe in God or Buddha, Krishna, Allah, whatever it is, you're in alignment, and even if you're an atheist, that you're in alignment with your belief system in a new way, because that's why it's so slow right now, so that we have really time to choose to reconsider the commitments that you've made, people, places, things, situations. You are in this deep state of reconsidering. Is this really what I want? Does it really need to be this hard? Is it meant to be? Is this going to serve me moving forward? Whether it be relationships or jobs or health decisions that you've made, is this really going to serve me in the long run? And if you've been asking yourself that, then you are right on track and you are right on time. So during this period of everything being slow, what's coming up in awareness is old triggers, old stuff that you're like, I thought I dealt with this already. I thought I did therapy around this. I thought I did a 12-step group around this. I thought I, dealt with this in the best way that I knew how. Why is this coming up again? So my friend, please don't see this as a failure. See it as an opportunity to revisit that old stuff and reconsider what it is that you truly want and refresh. Maybe you made some decisions by default in the past. Maybe you assumed that this is the way it is for me. This is the way it is for everybody. I don't really have a choice, but you do. So as your friend that tells you the truth, I want you to know that it's time to reconsider every decision that's plaguing you. And you know what I'm talking about, whether it's your health or what you're doing at your job or in your career or in corporate, to really refresh your commitment from a place of being aligned with yourself. Getting out of our heads requires groundedness. So we are wanting to enter this year, we meaning myself included, from a place of groundedness, from clarity, from being centered. And to do this, you have to rest. I know that's not what you want to hear at the beginning of the year. You're like, I'm ready to go. You're using that excitement of the new year and the opportunity to move forward and make decisions differently and do it differently this year, which is great. And I love that for you. However, there's a lack of momentum right now. And I said it before in previous episodes, how it feels like you're being pulled back by a slingshot. That feeling of tension that's created in your body, pay attention. Don't just override it. Don't just slap on the Bengay if you're in America, Voltaren if you're in Australasia. Don't just slap on the Voltaren, taking a leave, pressing forward. Really stop. Why is this tension in my shoulder, in my neck, in my jaw? Why is this happening? Why am I getting tension headaches? Why am I getting, the odd blister on my foot? Why is this happening? Because we're meant to slow down, because we're meant to rest more and really reconsider. Don't rush. Do not rush to make decisions or be put in situations where you have to make quick decisions. You really don't. It's time to slow down. So in today's episode, I'm going to talk about how to really value your own intuitive input, the signals you're getting from your body, from your soul, from your higher power, from whatever you call it, especially when it comes to personal health and decisions. And I have handpicked some questions from our viewers. I would love your questions. And one of the most common questions I get asked is, what kind of questions should I ask Siddiqi on the Dear Siddiqi show? So first of all, if you want, your questions can remain anonymous. You can write them to DearSiddiqi@gmail.com. Write the question, tell us where you're from. We love to know where in the world you're from. And then write, I would love to remain anonymous, and I will make up a funny, quippy name for you, and you can remain anonymous. Any question, there's no holds bar in the question. And I want to warn you that today, one of the questions that a business associate asked is X-rated. So this content is truly meant for educational and entertainment purposes only. You're always needing to go to some professional source. And this is, again, a general reading based on my intuition and the questions that have been asked. If you need more specific answers, by all means, reach out to DearSiddiqi@gmail.com and we can book you in for a private reading where we can get more specific about what it is that's really going on underneath, so that you can understand the deeper energies that are at play in any given situation, circumstance, relationship that you are finding yourself in. Especially right now is a great time when there's a lack of momentum to do a deeper exploration. And yes, you have dealt with these issues before, you have explored them before. And I don't want you to see it as a failure if the health stuff is coming up again, if the relationship stuff is coming up again. It's time to just really say, what more foundational things can I add to the mix of support for myself in this situation so that I can really show up and shine and be all of who I am? So again, today I have an X-rated question. I'm going to do that second. But first of all, I'm going to start with a question that I thought was really, really great. The question is, well, I'll just read it to you, okay? Dear Siddiqi, I've been feeling inundated by heavy energy and a lot of emotion. Holla, me too. I know I'm sensitive, I'm raising my hand to that, and can sometimes pick up on other people's energy, especially at work. In my own personal life, things are really good. How do I manage so many feelings? Could it be that I'm feeling the collective trauma and pain? How can I navigate what's happening on the planet and stay aligned with myself and feeling good despite the overwhelming heaviness I'm experiencing? And that is from Anonymous in New York City. Well, I love that question. So the question is, I'm feeling a lot. It's feeling really heavy. And I love that Anonymous in New York City that you kind of had your own answer there, which is it even mine? So a practice, and I love to give you practices on these episodes that are super simple, really digestible, and help you to navigate these situations more effectively, especially tuning into your own intuition and your own guidance around these things. So I'll just share, Anonymous in New York, I'll share a recent experience. I was away with my husband on vacation. We were with his family. Which actually families and vacation are not synonymous in my world. That's a new, like, aha, families, vacation, not always one and the same. I was having so many feelings come up and I was just like, what is going on? Found myself really teary, really overwhelmed, feeling shut down. And I had to ask myself, what is going on? Is this even mine? And that is a perfect question. When you're at work, maybe you're feeling angry. Maybe you're feeling frustrated. Maybe you're feeling stuck. Maybe it's in your relationship. You're feeling shut down. You're feeling cut off. You're feeling withdrawn. Or on the opposite, you feel like, slow down, take a couple of deep breaths. Pull back from the trying to figure it out and just observe as if you're looking at it from, an airplane window. You're looking out at the situation and ask yourself, is this really mine? Is this really mine? And if it's not, just, is it proportional? How you feel in proportion to your emotional reaction. If it doesn't line up, and if you're feeling a lot of emotion to a very little situation, that by and large, if you're a sensitive creature like I am, like so many of my clients are, you're going to feel a little crazy. Like, what's wrong with me? Why am I experiencing this? I should just calm down. I shouldn't be feeling this way. Shouldn't yourself. Instead, take responsibility for your sensitivity. Take responsibility for that you are feeling the way you're feeling. And then the next step, the practice that I want to give you, is to slow it all down and breathe and ask your body, ask yourself, is this really mine? Is this overwhelm mine? Is this frustration mine? Or is it something that's going on around me and I'm in the soup pot of everybody else's anxiety about the situation? And how does it serve me or not serve me to be taking on everybody's emotions? What I've seen happen for many of my high-end leadership clients is that part of what makes you a really good leader and really good at what you do is you are able to get that 360-degree view and toggle around and listen to other people's perspectives and make really good decisions as a leader from that place. However, when you go into your head and you're trying to figure out everything, it's overwhelming. So take a step back, stop trying to figure it out, and feel what you're feeling, and just simply parse out, this is not my anxiety, this is not my frustration, this is not my overwhelm, this is not my shutdown, and I'm going to take myself off over here and do some basic self-care. Put your feet up against the wall. Reverse the flow of blood. This is me as a former yoga instructor talking to you. Take the weight off your heart and your body. Let the blood flow back to your heart. Get some more oxygenation going. Take 3 really deep breaths. Stand up. Breathe in. Drink some water. And when you feel the heaviness, really ask, is it purposeful for me to be experiencing this right now? And if it's not, feel it for a moment and then see it as outside of yourself. Rather than taking it on and assuming it's yours, see it as outside of yourself. I hope that was a helpful answer to the question. That's what I do. My first thing is I take it all on. I'm experiencing all of it. I'm drowning in other people's energy and emotions. Then I beat myself up for being so sensitive. Why am I so sensitive? And then I remember that my sensitivity is the biggest gift in my career, and that I am meant to be more discerning in my sensitivity. So I hope that was helpful. Anonymous from New York City. How do you manage so many feelings? You slow down, you do some really deep self-care, and then from that place of self-care, you go into inquiry. Is this even mine? And if it's not mine, you send it back with your breath. You breathe it out of your body. You don't take it on. You don't ruminate in it. You don't bathe in it. You don't soak in it. You don't beat yourself up for experiencing it. You just say, okay, I'm perceptive. Great. That's what makes me good at what I do, that I'm perceptive. But my new perspective is I don't have to take it on. Okay, deep breath. I hope that was helpful. So the next question, this is the X-rated version of a question. I think it's really helpful. I sat long and hard and I meditated on it. This is from a colleague that I really trust. And I thought it was a great question. So I'm bringing it to you here. I'm assuming that if you're watching this on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, that you are an adult, that you're not just happening upon this, that you willingly are entering into this situation where you're listening to this, because this is a really big, deep question. And I love my friend Nick for asking this. He said, "Dear Siddiqi, I hope this question is okay to ask on your show, as it's a tad bit risque. I'm a middle-aged man and have been lured into the energy of sex and what I see in the popular media. There's so much sex being portrayed on every platform, especially TikTok. It's inundated. It seems that the crazier the world gets, the more sexual energy there is bouncing around in the collective being portrayed on social media. I'm turned on by all of these visuals and the portrayal of sex, and I'm in a healthy relationship. However, it doesn't feel authentic when I have sex with all of these visuals in mind. How do I unplug from the media machine of sexual portrayal and find a pure, authentic connection during sex? Love you, love your show." And that's from my friend Nick in the Hamptons. Nick, what a brave question. Thank you so much for asking this. So for those of you that feel like dinosaurs and you get on TikTok and you see all these women, young women, probably for some of you that have daughters, they're on TikTok and you don't even know it. They're shaking their booties. They're sexy. They're half clad. It's almost like soft porn over there on TikTok. I'm not going to lie. And so we're inundated. Back in the day, it used to be that it was the cover of magazines and that it was billboards, but now it's everywhere on social media. You see major influencers in business. I've seen my colleagues. I'm in my 50s. I've seen my colleagues that are in their 20s and 30s that are legitimate business women. They're 6 and 7 figure business earners, and they are in thongs, bikini thongs on the beach, covered with mud, on their Instagram, on their TikTok, and yet they're doing it under the business profile. And I'm like, my God, what is happening? So, Nick, you're not alone. There's all sorts of sexualized images, and I love the correlation that you've made between the intensity in the world and the intensity of sexual portrayal in the media. What do we do about it? How do we get it out of our head so that when we are in a loving, healthy partnership, we can find our authentic expression of that love, find that way to connect that doesn't have all those visuals in your head? So I have meditated on this actually for 2 weeks and just asked, like, what is this about? So the sexual expression is it's a cry for attention. It is a cry for connection. No matter what context it's in, it's pay attention to me, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. I want to connect with you. But I'm doing it through this visual stimulation, titillation. Now, the problem with that, and the problem that's always been, whether it's social media or back in the day of magazines and billboards or live shows, is that we are visual creatures, men especially visual creatures, and we do see this material and it does imprint on us, which is why it's so kind of genius that these women that are in business have decided to promote themselves using their sexuality. I don't think I could do it with the amount of cellulite that I have. Nobody would want to see it. It would be like it'd be the anti-client repulsion is me in a thong bikini and cellulite. Anyway, you don't need to visualize that. So how do you find authentic connection? You can look at it. You're not going to be able to avoid it because it's everywhere. These portrayals of sex, sexuality in media, everywhere you look. But you can make a different decision by like really slowing down. And here's the thing. If you're off in some fantasy world, whether it's in your relationship, in your sexuality, in any area of your life, if you're in fantasy world, you're not in the present moment. And every change, every experience that you really want to have is in the present moment. So Nick, I know you know this because my friend Nick is an amazing breath worker, breath teacher. It's to really slow down, get into your breath, get into your body, get into the moment, and make a decision that you're not going to react from that place of hyped up sexual fantasy energy, and that you're instead going to connect really purposefully. So that probably means that you need to slow things way down, which is the energy of today, which is why I picked your question. Because slowing down, getting in your breath, setting a different intention of I want to be present to my partner. I want to be present in my body. I don't want to just jump to that like hyper state of feeling good. I want to have an experience of who I am as a human being. And so I'm going to breathe and be present. And when my mind starts to pull me off into that fantasy world that is not what I'm dealing with right in front of me, I'm going to pull it back in. It might be for a while like you're playing tug of war. That's just the go-to of your mind, is to go to what you've seen, what's been imprinted on you. But the practice is I want to have authentic, deeper connections. So whether this is in your sexual life or whether it's in business, remember that all connections that are deep and abiding are based on trust. They're based on you being present. They're based on you not having an ulterior motive of, I'm going to sell this person something. They're based on just really deeply connecting with the other person, finding out what is it that they desire, what is it that they need, what is it that they want, what is it that you are willing to offer, what is it that you have to give, and can you just be present with each other? So do you see how it doesn't matter if it's about sex, if it's about communication with your partner, with coworkers, with kids, whether you're a salesperson or doing some kind of business, that the principle of this question is the same, which is how can I get out of that hyped up reality of the 6-figure, the 7-figure, or the salacious sex or whatever it is, and come back to your heart, come back to your breath, come back to being present, because that is truly where the answers are. I hope this was helpful to you, my friends. Again, this is me answering from my higher self, my intuition, tuning into my psychicness and bringing you the answers to these very pertinent questions so that you can become even more of who you are. I'm so grateful you joined us. Join us again for the next episode 2 days from now. If you have a question, write it into DearSiddiqi@gmail.com. I would love to answer it. And thank you, Nick, and thank you, Anonymous, for asking these very brave and pertinent questions. I look forward to seeing your comments. Please comment below and join, subscribe, and do share this information that is super juicy onto your friends, onto your colleagues, onto anyone that you think this would be helpful to. And thank you again. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I will see you in our next episode.